One of the most devastating things about trauma is that it changes how we feel about ourselves and about how we feel about the world. And these negative thoughts and feelings can become our core negative beliefs. So stick around and I'm going to show you how you can identify what your core negative beliefs are and how to transform them. For videos designed to help you recover from anxiety and trauma and live a more joyful life, please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video every Tuesday. I'll walk you through some simple steps to identify what your core negative beliefs are and then some steps to transform them. First, I will walk you through an EMDR visualization that will help identify what your core negative beliefs are about yourself and/or the world, and then I'll walk you through a visualization to begin to transform them into positive, more adaptive beliefs. I'd like to ask you to bring up an event that's upsetting, but not the most upsetting thing you've ever experienced. So something, say, about a 5 in a scale of 0 to 10. So just take a moment and identify what that event is. And then as you bring that event to mind, feel whatever physiological feelings come up with that event. It might be a little bit of nausea, it might be an increased heart rate, it might be some feelings of anxiety. But try to notice the physical feelings that go with that event and the emotional feelings that go with that event. As you bring that event to mind, identify what the negative belief about yourself is that goes with that situation. And we're really looking for something that's in very basic language. So if, your thought is, I shouldn't have done that. Well, then why? What's the core underneath? I shouldn't have done that. Is the core, I'm stupid, I'm bad? If the core is simply, I did something wrong, did you actually do something wrong? So just explore into it a little bit. So core negative beliefs tend to fall into one of 3 categories. One would be personal defectiveness, something wrong with me. Another would be a lack of safety, and the third, lack of choices. So for personal defectiveness, often the statements are something like, I'm bad, I'm defective, I'm lacking, I'm unlovable. Generally, it's a strong negative adjective about the self, and it's pervasively applied. So not like I did something wrong, but I'm bad. I am at core bad. So those would be the types of statements that would fall into the category of personal defectiveness. In the category of lack of safety, there would be I'm in danger, I can't trust others. In the category of lack of choices, there would be I'm trapped, I'm helpless, I'm powerless, I'm vulnerable. So just take a moment and see if any of those negative statements go with this event you brought up that's about a 5 on a scale of 0 to 10. And as you bring that statement to mind, just see if it feels familiar. If that statement feels familiar, that's probably your core negative belief. Fairly often people will have core negative beliefs that fall into 2 of the categories, either the lack of safety or lack of choices, one statement from that grouping, and then one statement about personal defectiveness. And trauma often will cause people to have a negative statement about themselves and a negative statement about the world and their safety. If, as you listen to me read those statements, you feel that you have many, many, many of those statements, my guess is that you have fairly complex PTSD, complex trauma, and probably early childhood trauma, in which case definitely this kind of work is best done with a therapist. Now, usually when I work with a client and they identify a negative core belief about themselves and I ask them if that feels familiar, they will generally say, yes, it feels very familiar. And if I ask if there were childhood events that connect to that feeling, they often will say many. So if that's the case, then you clearly know that that is your core negative belief about yourself. So the EMDR process helps to go back to some of those early memories and reprocess them so that that core negative belief can be shifted. And if you'd like to understand how that process works a little bit more, please watch my video, How Does EMDR Work? Today I'm going to stay a little bit more on the surface and hopefully give you a tool that can begin to transform your negative belief into a more adaptive, more positive belief. So taking your core negative belief, I'd like you to come up with what you would rather believe about yourself, kind of the opposite, a positive belief, but we always need to phrase the positive beliefs in a realistic way. Let me explain a little bit further. So if the core negative belief is I'm bad, the positive would be I'm good enough. The positive would not be I'm a saint, I'm the most wonderful person in the world, I'm the best person in the world. Nothing absolute, because our mind is very tricky and it will argue against positive absolutes. That's why people have a very hard time with affirmations sometimes if they're expressed in too strong a way. If your negative belief was I'm stupid, the positive could be I'm smart enough. There's probably a lot of evidence in your life that you're smart enough. There may not be evidence, or your mind might be able to argue against, like, I'm brilliant, I'm the smartest person I know. We don't need to go there. I'm smart enough. Or if the core negative belief is something like I'm different, I'm less than, I'm lacking, the positive could simply be I'm okay as I am. And then in the lack of safety and the lack of choices categories, if your negative statement was I'm in danger, the positive could be I'm safe enough now. If the negative belief is I'm trapped, the positive could be I can make my own choices. So that gives you some examples of coming up with a, let's say, reasonable positive cognition. And I just would like you to bring that positive cognition to mind and think about how true that feels. So not just how true your mind knows it is, but how true your mind, your heart, your body, your whole being feel that statement is. And give it a number on a scale of 1 to 7. 7, it feels totally true. 1, it does not feel true at all. So I'm safe enough now. How true does that feel? I'm a good enough person. How true does that feel? So just take a moment to notice that. So the tool I'd like you to think about in terms of gradually changing your negative core beliefs is to begin to think about those situations and circumstances where the positive cognition makes sense to you. So bring to mind those situations in which you are safe enough. Bring to mind those situations where you do feel smart enough, secure enough, feel like you can trust people. And these could be situations you're remembering from the past, they could be current day situations, but bring to mind some evidence that that positive cognition is true. And if you have a memory that goes with that positive cognition, I'd like you to do a little bit of butterfly tapping. So bring the memory to mind and just put your arms on your hands on your shoulders and giving yourself sort of a little bit of a self-hug, and then alternate the tapping. And you can close your eyes and bring to mind the memory that goes with the positive cognition. And just gently tap yourself on the shoulders. And this is an exercise you can do regularly for yourself. So that would be one tool to use to gradually change your core negative beliefs into more adaptive, more positive beliefs. Let me say, there is no miracle cure for this. You've probably been developing these negative core beliefs about yourself for a long time. And you have probably been using whatever evidence is in your world to reinforce these negative core beliefs for a long time. So there's no magic pill that's going to work, that's going to transform this. It's going to be some work. And part of that work could be, as you go through your day, look for the evidence that supports the positive belief, not the negative belief. So look for the evidence that supports I am safe enough. Look for the evidence that supports I am a good person, instead of looking for the evidence that supports the opposite. And there is a third technique to use, particularly for people who are having a hard time accessing any kind of feeling of the positive belief, and that is called the movie technique, and I am going to release a video on that next week. If you'd like a PDF that walks you through the process of identifying your core negative beliefs about yourself, as well as the techniques and tools that you can use to begin to transform them, I have a PDF, it's for free, link is below. And I'd really love to know what you think about this video about transforming your core negative beliefs and about how EMDR can help with trauma. So please put a comment below. I will do my best to answer and respond, and I'd love to know any questions you have. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me know that I'm on track, and please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you're notified every Tuesday when I release a new video. And thanks for watching. I look forward to the next time.